I think, especially over the last few days, we have actually gotten to see where things stand on this whole airline retailing, the modern airline retailing landscape. I think it's now time really for the finance side of the house also to start thinking about how the way we do things will change. So, I mean, if you just think about it, the way we envisage this new world to operate, I think anything starting from payments, settlement, and of course revenue accounting. We've talked about that as well. So I think all these will change from the way we know it. I mean, we talked about this at the council meeting yesterday about how payments, the way we know it today, even through BSP settlement, for example, how a lot of that could change as we go forward. And even from a customer perspective, I mean, some of the experience on how you pay and so on could change. But clearly, as I said, I think the first side that comes to my mind would be revenue accounting, because everybody's talking about how the new world brings us much closer to many other industries, and how accounting for your sales and accounting for services rendered should be a lot more simpler and should be a lot more similar to how other industries do it. I think up to this point, we have focused more on proof of concepts. And this has really been about the distribution side, driving this transformation, the digital teams coming into play as well. Finance teams are involved in the POC side of things as well, but I think given that now we see timelines being established, we know when the IT providers are expected to be ready, we even think we know when the first set of airlines are going to have these things live and available for you. I think it's now time for an organization, including mine, to start looking at project setups. And there will always be competing projects and where you allocate resources, but it is coming, and I think it's much more than just a vision now. There are timelines established. So I think from an organization perspective, it's perhaps the right time to now start putting a project team together, and also even slowly starting to map out what your initial deliverables are. I'm not saying these don't exist. I'm just saying that we probably need a lot more people in the organization now to get involved and start working together towards it. So for me, I think as soon as I get back, it's about reaching out to the right people and making sure I know what's happening today, and then of course discussing what else can we do to make this work. So I think one of the items that we've talked about under the whole modern airline retailing is the customer service and the customer experience. Now, clearly, I think some of the expectation is that ancillary services, the way it's offered and what is offered, things could really get a lot more better and more attractive for a customer. But I think beyond that, we're also talking about how do we make servicing, and that includes even disruption handling as well. I think these are questions that have been asked. I don't think there are very clear answers today, but it is expected that with an order and offer sort of environment, these areas will become easier to handle and the customer experience should be improved. One of the other areas I think customers will see some difference could be in the payment side of things. Again, more options possibly, and perhaps simpler arrangements. And I think even if it came to refunds, for example, I mean, listening to the experts talk, you get the sense that again, as you start moving towards this new world, as I want to call it, the customer will also see some differences on how they handle with how they deal with an airline, and how some of those interactions can get better, possibly faster and more efficient. So I think again, MAR is coming, and we can see that the vision is getting clearer and clearer. We have timelines, we have different parts of the companies, different parts of the ecosystem getting ready. So my advice, and that is to me as well, is that basically people need to start thinking about how it's going to manifest itself in your part of the organization. Awareness is definitely the key here, and I think some level of training as well. We heard about the IATA MAR Institute, I think it was called, right? And about basically giving people insight into what is coming and getting people trained. So I think my advice to people in the organization, whether it's my organization or outside, would be I'm quoting one of my other fellow members on the committee, the ship has sailed, or the ship is already sailing, and And it's high time that we all became aware of what's going to happen and try and make the best out of it, because this is not something that is going to be a incremental change. It is going to be a step change in how we do things, and I think the more people who are on board and the more people who understand what's happening, I think your success rate is going to be even higher.